Hi everybody, and welcome to the Spin Cycle podcast talking to the personalities, the groups, and the brands that make cycling in the UK and London an incredible place to be. This week on the podcast, great guest, NJ and I really looking forward to know, is Jack from Link My Ride. Jack, welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thanks so much for having me. I've been watching a few of your podcasts now, so I'm really excited to actually be on one. So thanks a lot.
Awesome. Well,
Great to hear.
not one to teach Jack how to suck eggs or anyone else listening, but we'll break the podcast into three components, right? So, who are you? How'd you get into cycling? That's about your thing. So Jack's going to tell us all about Link My Ride, how it started, how it's going, and where we're going in the future. And then the third part, we'll do our Q&A. Some refinement of the Q&A questions. Keep them coming in on Instagram because it's me reading the DMs. So the more abusive the DMs to me, the more we'll probably get into the podcast proper. But let's kind of start there. Jack, why don't you tell us who you are and maybe how you got into cycling, mate?
So my name's Jack. I'm based just outside Oxford, so I'm not the centre of London, but have a lot to do in London in terms of cycling. And how I got into cycling, I think I've been around bikes since I was born. My dad and granddad both cycling mad. So I remember kind of being the same height as where the bottles are on the bike and trying to take the bottles off my dad's bike and stuff. So I've always been around bikes, and then kind of got into it obviously through seeing it and living with it. So that's kind of how it came around. So my dad kind of introduced me to the sport, and then I think I remember the first time I did the Col de la Madone was 8 years old. So I remember couldn't my hands were aching so much going down. I couldn't brake, so my dad had to hold me on the back of my head to slow me. He was breaking one hand, so that's quite. I can't really remember it, but he said he was terrified. So that's a good story. So my dad essentially is the reason I'm kind of where I am in terms of the cycling world. He got me into the sport and kind of taught me the ways as such, and then set off into the kind of pro world as such. Started on Team Zappies when I was kind of 13, and then as most youth riders do, they work their way up through the ranks, and then joined Team Wiggins. I think I was about 17, 18 when I joined Team Wiggins. Sacked off A-levels, so getting paid. Looking back, paid hardly anything, but that was my first ever wage of any kind. So I was like, right, I'm getting paid to do what I love. I'm getting it.
Amazing.
So did that, no A-levels, and didn't look back really. So then Wiggins to Trinity, and then Trinity to Malloy Push Bikers, German team. That's kind of where it went slightly downhill a bit. I didn't have the UK banter to keep the morale high during the winter, and it kind of cracked a bit. So then obviously Link My Ride was kind of overlapping at the same time. So it's kind of, do I do both 50-50 or nail one of them, and chose Link My Ride in the end. So that's kind of a brief overview of my short cycling career.
Fair. And what was it? How was it like kind of in the early days? So I think we're probably the same sort of age as you are, as NJ and I. And we remember Wiggins being a thing, and obviously Trinity's still a thing, but it's kind of slightly different now. What was it like racing for Wiggins? Bearing in mind, Brad had just won the Tour, right? He was kind of at the peak of his powers at that point, right?
So cool. It was so cool. I'm a bit annoyed I missed the Rafa days with the target on the back. That was I saw that kit when I was on Zappy, that's the coolest team in the world. They got the coolest kit. I love that design. So I was a bit miffed. I wasn't on the team when they had that, but we were on the call, and that was still, we still looked like the best team in the UK. And I think partly the way I looked at cycling was look good, feel good, race good. So I definitely helped a bit. It was super cool. It was very surreal, pinching myself first few races, picking up the my first TT bike, Pinarello TT bike.
Amazing.
Driving down to Wales to get me one of the mechanics and put it in the back of my car, and just spent the rest of the week playing with it and riding it. So very, very cool experience, and would happily go back and do it all over again if I could.
All right, and I was going to say, is that where? So that was quite like the cut of that Wiggins team, and then into Trinity, right? There was quite a lot of well-known riders that were in that class, right? Was it just that kind of bit of a perfect storm between post Olympics, more funding, more interest in that kind of junior and domestic racing, and it's a lot of moving parts, and because it feels like that really happened, and a lot of people came out of that program and are now doing great things or are still around. And what
Yeah,
do you think
no,
contributed to that?
I think I was thinking about this the other day. Actually, the amount of well-known names from the UK cycling world that are now world tour that I used to race against, like Ethan Vernon, Fred Wright, Lewis Askey, obviously Pidcock. I'm going to forget people. Jake Stewart. There's Ethan Vernon, Josh Tarling. There's that's what I can think off the top of my head, but the list goes on and on and on. Like it's crazy. Stevie Williams, James Knox, like all of these guys were all kind of give or take a couple of years around when I was racing, and I don't know what it was. I'm not in that kind of realm as much anymore, so I don't know if it's still the same, if they're still coming through as much. I think they are. Like the pros that are getting signed are younger and younger. But like that era was nuts. I remember I finished third on the under 20 or the junior Liège, Bastogne Liège, and Remco was on the podium. I was third, and like we were on the podium together. Like that. I look back. I didn't think at the time like who the hell Remco is, but now looking back, I'm like, well, that's like the caliber of riders in those kind of couple of years is they're winning everything today. So that's probably why I didn't make the cut because it was just so high. I reckon take it back 10 years, and if I was riding 10 years ago, then probably would have had a better chance. But yeah, I think I'm happy I'm not doing that now. It looks horrible.
Do you do any riding now?
I should. Being the co-founder of a cycling app, I should ride a lot more. I haven't properly ridden this year, really. I did the London Marathon in April, so I've just been training on 2 feet instead of 2 wheels, which is quite a nice change, actually. So, yeah, good fun.
Do you have, I guess, ambitions to get back on the bike, or are you happy just doing lots of different sports when you feel like it?
No, I did 2 weeks ago take my bike into the local bike shop to get serviced. So I snapped the rear derailleur. So I was getting new derailleur on, and then I'll be back out. We've just got some new Nick My Ride kit, so I'm buzzing to go and try that. So yeah, fresh chamois.
Do you have any of the old kits you used to have? So I remember the Wiggins was, Andrew and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. That setup for me was the kind of the setup for like we were growing up, right? That was like the Giro helmets, the Oakleys, the red Pinarellos you had for a while.
Yeah.
I remember those. Do you still have any of that stuff knocking around?
I've got none of the bikes, but I've got all my kit, and my girlfriend hates it because it's just taking up like 3 suitcases in the garage full of stuff. I've even got unwashed kit that I've crashed in. Like there's just got massive rip and blood in it. It's in a plastic bag and it stinks. There's still got the numbers on and they're all rusty. And so I literally got everything. I've sold a couple bits of stuff, like the stuff that's brand new, but all the used stuff I've still got. Yeah, sweaty, bloody, and all used. So yeah, if anyone wants it, it's going.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think you'll keep it or have like a nice little display with some of them?
Yeah. I've tried to move my camera on. I've got there we go. You can see a signed Tour de France jersey in front of me, Contador sign. I've still got. I'm going to. I want to get some of the jerseys framed. This is quite cool. So I'm going to try and fill my office with some more cycling memorabilia.
Nice. Yeah, I've just brought up the Trinity squad from 2020, and it's pretty stacked.
We've got Tom Glogan there as well. Yeah. Ben Healy. Yeah, I've got. I told you I'd forget some.
Cameron Mason, Pidcock, Ollie Reese, Ben Turner, Max Walker, Matt Walls.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot all of those guys. So there you go. There's even more of them, and they're all most of them in the UK. Like I don't know. I don't get why. There must be something in the water those few years. But yeah, I didn't get enough of it.
What kind of rider were you though, Jacques?
I loved stuff like Paris-Roubaix, kind of the punchy, rolling, where you're not too heavy to go up the hills and not too light to suffer on the flat. Kind of those rolling, punchy days. Kind of either 1 days or a couple of days stage races. But the long, big mountainy stuff was a bit too much. I was quite a big guy, especially compared to Tom. I'm 6 foot. Tom's God knows what I don't know what height he is, but he's a lot smaller than me, and he weighs like half of what I weigh. So you can imagine he puts out the same power as me, but his weighs half as what I weigh. So you can imagine kind of how quickly he goes to the hills compared to what I did. So yeah, definitely on the punchier side of the type of rider.
Do you have any races that you done that have like stood out?
Roubaix under 23. That's probably one of my favourite races. Was it? Yeah, under 23. It was with Wiggins. Tom won it, and I remember it was so hot. It was like 32, 33 degrees. It was just dusty. I remember I made the front group. I think it was about 20 guys. And Tom was at the front. I was sat in the back the whole time. I was gone. I emptied the tank to get there. And I remember just before the group split, I told Tom, I went up to him and told him I was in. He was like, I didn't realise you were in this group. I've been there for like an hour just chilling at the back. Then I got a puncture on the car. On the car floor, I got a puncture. So I probably would have come in like a top 20, top 15 if I'd hung with a puncture. But yeah, rolled in about 30th or something like that. I think. I don't know, you'll be able to find it on Google or something. But yeah, that was so cool coming to the velodrome at the end and then finding out Tom had won. That was pretty surreal. Then Baby Giro, did that twice or 1.5 times. I pulled out halfway through the second time I did it. That was pretty cool as well. I think it was the first stage. We did the prologue on the first Baby Giro. I can't remember where it was, like Riccione or somewhere. And I'll try to find one of the pictures. I'll send it to you on Instagram or something. But they'd lined all this street. They had like loads of balloons and stuff, and it literally looked like the finish of the Tour de France or something. It was got goosebumps turning around that in full skin suit TT set up. It's pretty cool. I think it was like a 2K TT, literally up and down a straight. So it's pretty pointless, but that was a cool moment as well. But that's it really. I think there's one race I had. I can't remember what it was called now. In Belgium, it was like a 1.1 UCI race in Belgium. I remember I got away with Nathan Draper. He was on Wiggins at the time, and there's a group of us, and then just me, Draper, and one other guy, and the guy out sprinted both of us. So we came like second. It was like he beat us. So the team weren't too pleased. They'd worked it, and we got in the break, and then it was 2v1, and we still lost. So there's a video of like Stannard versus like 2 quick step riders in the.
That's one of the best. Yes, isn't it Tom Bone and Nicky Terpstra?
Yeah, that's it. And then Stannard, yeah, that basically it was like that. Wasn't to that level, but that's kind of what it felt like.
Have you? But before we head to section 2, Jacques, what advice have you got for people? Because it's got quite a decent age demographic here. What advice would you give people, or how to take their cycling to like a real serious level? So you're a fast junior. Like how? What advice would you give someone if they wanted to get into professional bike racing?
I think my advice would be, number one, make sure you eat enough, because it's getting a bit better these days. But especially when we started, like eating salads every day was the thing. And like, yes, you need to be really, really light because it's power to weight, but fuel makes you go faster, and especially in training, if you eat, just keep eating, especially when you're riding. Because like I've done it where I've gone like 2 weeks of like just gone trying to fast and stuff, and it just ruins you. So I'd say eat as much as you can, and then don't underestimate how much training you actually need to do. Because I didn't do enough, and you see the guys that did, they're at the World Tour now. So I think eat more, train more is probably the two things I'd say.
How much training were you doing?
I can't remember. I was doing like 600k a week. But that's like, sorry, that was me. Don't put that on mute. That was that as a pro full time. Like for me now, doing 600k a week's absurd. I wouldn't be able to do it. But if you're full time, 600k a week isn't too bad. So I think the guys now, obviously not every week, but some weeks do. I see the guys now doing like 1,000k on a big week. So it needs to be done. You need to get the miles in, but train harder, train more, and eat more. I think they're two things I'd say.
Fair.
Nice.
And maybe it's with that we head to section 2, and Jacques tells us about Link My Ride. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Spin Cycle podcast. Don't forget to follow us on your podcasting platform so new episodes are automatically downloaded to your device. You can also follow us on Instagram, Link My Ride, and Strava, so you can see where we are, what we're up to, and the rides we've got planned. Anyway, enough of me. Let's get into the episode. Thanks.
Welcome back, everyone. So, Jack, we'll start with how did Link My Ride start, and then how did you and Tom decide on becoming business partners as well?
How did Link My Ride start? Link My Ride started basically like most businesses, hopefully successful businesses do, out of pain point. Probably for the reason I stopped cycling is didn't make it pro, is because I love riding socially. I love riding in big groups, going to cool cafes. The social side of cycling, I absolutely love, and that's kind of my pain point of why I came up with the idea of Link My Ride, was because I found it hard to find those groups. So did Tom, and where Tom and I are traveling a lot for racing, and even if I'm in my hometown and the two guys that I used to train with are away or they can't make the ride, I'm like, who the hell do I ride with now? I don't know anyone else in the area well enough, or I don't have their number, or I can't be asked to go and scroll through Facebook or try look through some club's website. Most of them are 50 years old and haven't changed since .com was a thing. So that's what we were dealing with, and it was a very bad mashup of a lot of different solutions that weren't made for cycling, essentially. So I called up. I remember pitching the idea to Tom, and kind of we'd bounced the idea around a bit on the bike while training, but kind of never really concreted the idea together. And I remember I was sat on my drive for about an hour in my car on hands free, speaking to Tom, kind of sharing the kind of final plan and rough back of a fag packet numbers with him, like this could actually be a thing. So I remember that was kind of how it all started. So essentially, from a pain point of really bad solutions, I think at the time Strava had their flybys, and that was about it. You couldn't even message people at the time. You can on Strava now, but that's kind of getting a bit better for them. But yeah, that's kind of how it all started. And then Tom got the idea. He'd experienced the idea, the pain himself of trying to find group rides. Obviously now there's going to be a queue of probably 1 million people wanting to ride with Tom, so he doesn't have that issue anymore. But also he still does in a way. Like right now he's using WhatsApp, and one of the features I'll go into in a second, we're releasing kind of shows that it basically replaces WhatsApp, so you don't need to kind of scroll to find the GPX that you agreed last week, scroll to find the time, the meeting time. Link My Ride replaces all of that scrolling and mess and kind of puts it all into one singular place that people can see as kind of source of truth, if you want to call it that. So even though he might not ride with a big group of public people, he may want to organise a private ride with his private friends, and Link My Ride still applies to that. So that's kind of how it started and why we started it. And then, so Tom and I think that was Jan 2021, we actually registered the company. So that was, coming up to over 3.5 years ago now, which feels like yesterday, but also feels like 15 years ago at the same time. Tom and I founded that together, 50-50. And then I kind of made handshake promise to Tom that I wasn't going to ruin his cycling career and ask him to start leading a company with me. So I said, I take care of all the company stuff. You kind of be the face of the brand, and kind of you do that side of it. I'll do the kind of kind of day-to-day nitty-gritty stuff, and it's working really well. It's a good balance. Obviously, wouldn't be where we are without Tom, and then we wouldn't have been able to kind of get through the day-to-day stuff without what I did anyway as well. So there's kind of, it's quite a nice blend of what we've got, and a setup that Tom and I have got, which works really, really well. So yeah, he's definitely a great business partner to have, and it's quite nice having him. Tom's, I'm sure you've seen from his interviews, he's very kind of straight to the point, no filter with some of the stuff he says, and it's really valuable for me to kind of have him come in and look at what we're building, what we want to build, what we want to do, from such a detached view of kind of like, I haven't spoken to him about Link My Ride for 3 weeks. Here's what we're going to do. This is what we decided. This is the new strategy, all of that stuff. And then go, what do you think? Because he's coming from such a bird's eye view and a different perspective as a top pro. It's really interesting, the feedback he gives. It's a lot different to kind of a classic investor shareholder or someone that works on the team day to day, or even a club. Very, very different perspective on things. So it's really helpful having him there, kind of giving that.
That's good. That's great. So I guess for anyone who hasn't opened the app in any way, could you do like a whistle stop tour of like
Sure.
guess how easy it is to join a ride?
Yeah. So obviously when we launched, there was basically 0 rides to join. It's a bit like Instagram or Tinder or something like that, where it's kind of, it's a community fed beast that you have to have people feeding content into it for it to work. So when we started, it was pretty slow, but now we're the numbers are picking up quite a lot. We're kind of having thousands of rides being created in Link My Ride, and essentially when you open the app for the first time as a user, you'll add on a feed. Your feed will be populated with rides you can join, clubs you can follow, and riders you can follow, and they're curated by, essentially, if you're not part of any clubs or you don't follow any people, you won't see those rides. But if you are part of a club or you follow a rider, those rides created by those clubs and created by those riders you follow will come up in your feed. And the rides nearby you that are public, so they're public, kind of, we have different privacy levels, so public, private, and stealth. And if they're a public ride and they're nearby your location, they'll also appear in your feed as well. So kind of a curated list of kind of activities that you can join will populate in your feed. Then you have a map. That map is kind of an interactive map. Those locations update, so you have the rider locations. So you can see if a rider's got their profile on public, you can see where they are on a map. Just to clarify for a lot of people that are probably screaming out about security issues, we have a 1 kilometer fuzzy radius circle around your true location. So you and I could be stood next to each other with our phones like this. You could be 250 meters that way. I could be 573 meters that way. So it randomly moves you every time you open the app. So we never ever show the true location, but roughly you know where those riders are nearby. So that's the reason why we made the map was in Mallorca. And I was there for a couple of days riding by myself. Went home, didn't know anyone nearby to ride with. Went home, saw on Instagram, guy I knew was also in Mallorca, about a K down the road. And I was like, mate, if I'd known you were there, like, he was there riding by himself as well. And if we'd had Link My Ride or something that does a kind of a solution like Link My Ride, we would have known each other were nearby, we'd have connected, we'd organise a ride together, and then that would have been that, and the whole experience in Mallorca would have been 10 times better. So that was kind of the inspiration for that interactive map and seeing where people are nearby. A lot of people told us to get rid of it, or they don't see the point in it. But the more it fills up, the more people see people nearby, the more they understand the reason why we put it there. Then on the map, you also see those rides nearby and the clubs nearby. You can go and join and both those rides and clubs. So that interactive map is there as well. Then we have a little plus button in the bottom, which you can create your own ride. So you can connect with Strava and you can put all your rides that you created or done in Strava into Link My Ride and use that as a route. We've got a really cool route creator for all our UK users. So you can put in a start location and a distance you want to do. It'll create you 10 different random routes to choose from. Or you can upload your own route, fill in all the details, then you can invite people nearby or invite your followers. then notification page on your profile. So pretty simple stuff for the remaining bits. So that's kind of a quick whistle stop tour of Link My Ride.
I mean, I've started using it for me, right? So I moved out of London. When was it? In September last year. So I'm now in Ripley in the Surrey Hills.
Yeah.
I started using it now around near me. So I used to do the Friday laps, or I'll do Friday laps 1 week, home laps here. And I've started doing that as well. So what I've noticed is, bearing in mind I'm 20-minute ride from Giro.
Yeah.
When their rides go up, I get notifications from my area, all that kind of thing as well. So, like you said, I was in Lyon last week.
Yeah.
There are riders in Lyon as well. So I generally sometimes I just go in and flick it on when I'm traveling and see
Nice.
what's
Yeah,
going
it's
on.
cool.
So,
I did it in. I was in Lisbon last week for a holiday, and we've done like no work whatsoever to make Portugal a thing, and we had like 10 users in Lisbon, which is quite cool to see. So, definitely not nowhere near the numbers of the big boys in the industry, but it's nice to see when we go to a new location that we've had no contact with or any kind of users in that area. There's people picking it up. I think we've got users in 171 countries.
Amazing.
So pretty cool.
You can also find the Spin Cycle Podcast Club on Link My Ride. When this comes out, we are on there. You can find us on there.
When you mentioned it makes routes that you can put in, does it use you from like, I guess, routes that the community have already uploaded, or is it just using, I guess, whatever route that sees fit?
I'm going to try explain this being a non-technical person. Essentially, it uses OpenStreetMaps data. So that's publicly available data that Komoot use Strava. I think Strava's just announced some AI route building stuff, but most of the routing tools that you'll have used in the past all get their routing data from open source maps, and then they combine it and overlay that with their popular routes that people have done most, and then they can then supply you the best route. So we've basically kind of got a blend of all of that together, and then kind of put in some logic that is kind of don't show routes that are motorway, don't show routes that go down to these type of roads. Then depending on what filters the riders put in, then that logic will also apply as well. So there's a combination of different logic and filters, and then kind of the different sources around OpenStreetMaps and the data around it. That's why we haven't. There's a lot in the UK which we can get, and kind of trying to build those route creators globally all at once is going to recipe for disaster for such a small team. So we're slowly growing that.
Yeah. You mentioned Strava then. Would you say that they you see them as a competitor, or do you see like Link My Ride and Strava are like the best blend of meeting people, but also, I guess, comparing whatever you do on Strava these days?
It's a tricky one, because me personally, I don't feel like Strava is a competitor currently. It's like saying, but they could be. Like, so could Apple, so could Facebook, so could Google. If the size of the company and the kind of the bank that they've got, they can go and do anything and destroy anyone if they want to. But just like Apple, just like Facebook, Strava's fighting off thousands of battles. They're fighting off thousands of Link My Rides. They've got, I think, 50 sports now they've announced. So that there's probably 50 apps like Link My Ride all trying to nibble at their heels. So I think they're not a direct competitor. I think a lot of the stuff we have works a lot in parallel. Like we connect, we use their open API, and we pull in the routes from Strava. So I definitely want to pick that fight, and I don't want to be in a competitor to Strava. But yeah, I think the way our next kind of 12 to 18 months is going, we're definitely going to start veering away from that. We're listening to kind of more of what the community want and more what the brands want. And it's very different to what Strava are going towards as well. And Strava, at the end of the day, is an app to track how quickly you've gone and where you've gone against other people. We don't track, we don't compare, we just connect. So we're an app that basically gets you together with a group. So Strava, how I explain to people is that, imagine a circle. Link My Ride's the start of that circle with a pre-ride moment. Your Garmin records your ride, so that's the kind of during ride. Strava's the post ride, so you see where you've gone, how quickly you've gone, But obviously they're releasing new features, kind of a lot of route planning stuff. So that would probably fall into the pre-ride category, and their club function is also kind of pre and post ride as well. So they do go full circle, but kind of where we fit compared to them is we fit at kind of step 1, and they kind of fit at the step 3. I think there's always overlap.
I guess the thing that where you and them coexist, like you said, it's the pre and the post. It's like, if you can, there's no way for me to. There's some pretty fast people around Surrey, but there's no way for me to find someone unless I go on the day or find the person who's got the KOM. I go on their Strava profile. I send them a direct message, slightly strangely. I then say, hey, I think you live round me because you went past my house. Would you like to ride a bike with me? That's a very different proposition to being, I'm on a community-based app to get people together. The reason you're on this app because you want to cycle with other people. Do you fancy it? I'm putting this ride out. Full disclosure, turn up or don't, but I'm here and I'm riding around. I think that's a much better way of, because,
less odd.
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head. I think I'm going to send you a job offer after that. That was quite impressive. That was really good. But exactly that. So yeah, Strava. I've seen a lot of articles come out around the Strava messaging as well. Like, I'm not going to go into and start just like Strava off, but I've seen a lot of messages of articles, kind of like the title. I think one of them was titled "My Goodbye Letter to Strava," because they released messaging. It was a female cyclist. They're now getting creepy messages from all these people, and kind of ruined her experience as a cyclist, because now Strava's kind of essentially opened her up to that. And not saying Nick My Ride wouldn't do that. Obviously, we also share a lot of data on location and where you're going, but we also do, if you're private and I don't follow you, I can't see you're attending those rides, even though you are going to them. So I can't see, Cam's going to that ride, I want to go on all the rides Cam goes on. If I don't follow you and you're private, I can't see that. So
that's amazing.
We have seen the heat Strava gets for privacy and all that stuff, and we've kind of taken it on board quite quickly, and it was one of the top things on our list to do when we launched the app. So again, like women only rides, we can't create them, women can, and we can't see them, literally invisible to us. So that's another thing we take quite seriously as well, and I think we've got a pretty decent percentage split between men and women as well, which is quite just above an industry average so it's quite good for such a small company with kind of a small budget that we've managed to achieve that. So quite happy about that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Security and privacy is like, I guess, a key, well, anywhere, but especially in cycling, because it's not.
Yeah, and especially in London as well. Like, you see the stories of people getting their bikes nicked in broad daylight.
Yeah. And just, it is weird when people just like start sitting on the back of you as well. You wouldn't do that in any other situation in life. It's just weird when people just are there. You mentioned
playing golf and someone just standing behind you trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. You mentioned the next 12 to 18 months. What have you got in, your future?
So we've got probably our biggest update ever coming out end of June, and essentially we're, I dare to say it, building an Eventbrite competitor. That's the route we're going down, focusing totally on the pre, and essentially it's going to be Link My Ride ticketing. So we're building an end-to-end ticketing system that brands, Spin Cycle can even use it. It doesn't have to be for rides. It could be a live podcast. It could be a race. It could be a community ride. If you want to do your pints and pave and you want to cover the beers, you want people to pay in advance so you can put the beer order in. You can do £5 a ticket, and then people can pay in the app. They get their ticket on an Apple Wallet, and then you have your own check-in app, and you can scan people in and check people in and sign them off when they arrive. So full system. We're going to wipe the floor with the fees compared to Eventbrite as well, with the whole goal of trying to bring downloads in and grow the community, because Link My Ride isn't valuable to me or you unless there's people nearby to ride with. Yeah. So that's the goal with that ticketing, is to kind of bring those downloads in and kind of build that community more. The more people Link My Ride, the more valuable it is, and the quicker it will grow. So that's the idea around that. So that's coming end of June, which is super exciting. We've got a lot of very exciting things lined up off the back of that, and brands that want to start listing stuff, like even demo days. Brands can start listing their demo days in Link My Ride. So when you book, you can book your 56 frame of whatever, and then you know the route you're going to ride. Like up until now, that doesn't happen. You book a ticket for your bike, and then you turn up on the day and you don't even know the route you're going to ride, and like it's just a bit messy. And then even like, for example, let's say Sigma Sport put an event on Eventbrite, paid for, they change the route. How the hell do they tell everyone they changed the route? They've got to go notify everyone one by one, or they've got to email everyone, or put it in a WhatsApp chat and hope people see it. If they've got their WhatsApp muted, like a lot of people do, they're going to miss it. So in Link My Ride, if you've got your ticket, you're going to have to open up the app anyway, but you get notified of any route changes, date changes, anything like that. You get a push notification in the app and on your lock screen as well. So keep people up to date. So there's a big use case for brands to start kind of utilizing the ticketing, which kind of hopefully will top trump the current solutions, as they're not focused towards cycling specific events. Super excited for that. Then the rest of the year is essentially just kind of cleaning up our mess from rushing through features this year. And then we're looking to kind of hopefully launch some more stuff coming into the end of the year and into the new year. So they're excited to get to that point. But the main thing for us at the moment is the ticketing thing. And there's a few little bits on the side, like we're building. I'm not sure if you saw the Basso Clubhouse launched last week. Super cool. I'm not sure if you saw the Link My Ride stuff on the wall.
Amazing.
Yeah, we've got all the routes, Basso's favourite routes on the wall, all done by Link My Ride.
Nice.
And kind of in collab with Monty, we came up with an idea. Monty at Basso, we came up with an idea to have a route library. So right now in Link My Ride Club, we've got 3 tabs. I think it's post, notice board, rides, and members. We're going to add a routes tab in there, and then you can add, for example, Spin Cycle's top 10 favourite routes, and then they'll just sit on your profile. And then as a rider, I can then go in and then go, there's no rides to join, or I don't really want to go on one of the group rides, but I want to do that Spin Cycle's favourite route. So I can then go and download that route straight to my Garmin and go and do that by myself. So that's coming hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And then off the back of that, we can start doing more of those posters on the walls in stores. So we can go to Via and say, would you like to have that cool Link My Ride kind of wall of your favourite routes? And then on there, there'll be the QR codes you can then actually scan and open up the route in the app. So some cool stuff like that's coming. And a lot more around rewards as well. So we launched, I think a month ago now, we launched a new update.
Yeah, I saw that.
You get rewarded.
I'm a super user. I'm straight in there, mate. I've got the super user streak as well.
Nice. What's your streak? I'm gonna check mine now.
Let me have a look. Yeah, I'm on super user streak.
That's good.
Just whilst we look at that, and I'm thinking out loud, the ride
32-day streak. Come on.
Oh, how do I find that? Okay. Or I need to do some more tasks. Let me get back to you.
How do you become a super user?
You're gonna test my memory here. Super user has to complete 6 tasks. Follow 5 people was one of the tasks. Share Link My Ride outside of the app to a friend is another task. Create a ride, join a ride, like a ride, comment on a ride. I think they're the tasks. And then if you complete all of those, you get a discount. So depending on where you are in the world, we have different discount codes. So in the UK, I think it's 10% off science and sport, which is quite cool. I think in Europe.
Is there different tasks, or do you have to do that every day to get your 32?
No, it's just one. Cool. Then you become a super user once you've completed those tasks.
Oh, okay.
And then to get a streak is once a month you have to create a ride, join a ride, like a ride, and comment on a ride. If you do that once a month, you keep your streak. So
20 days. This guy's on 20 days.
Oh, good. That's quite a good one. Well done.
I tell you, out loud. Just thinking out loud though for this. The clubs where you put your rides on. So we spoke to several clubs, right, NJ and I, and a lot of these clubs have a cyclical calendar, right? So just thinking about how we met NJ, there's typically a brunch ride, or there's a hill climbing ride, or there's a ride
Yeah.
in Surrey or Essex or Kent, a place like that. And typically they follow the same route or a variance of that route. That would be incredible for if you've got all the rides in there and you're going, okay, it's this ride this week. I can just go in the library or I can scout out beforehand. That's what that's going to be used for, right?
Exactly. So it's valuable for the riders because they can go in and see them, but it's also valuable for the club because they have a library of all their routes on to hand. They can just click use route and that will populate the create ride flow for them. And then on that kind of the club focus, we're also adding the ability to repeat rides as well. So a lot of clubs across the world have a Sunday ride every Sunday, same route, same time, same meeting point. They can't be bothered to go in and create the ride every week. So adding the repeat ride feature as well, which is going to be really exciting. A lot of clubs have requested that. Then the no route ride, because again, a lot of clubs don't know the route until the morning of, especially if it's just a small bunch, like 10 guys, and just want to go out and just have a smash fest. They go, all right, we're going here, here, and here. So again, some people don't even have the route. So adding the no route ride feature, which is also quite useful for some of the brands that use MRI, like for example, Panama, they use it and they do their yoga classes in their Munich store through Link My Ride. So they right now, because they have to upload GPX, they just do like a 100-meter line just outside the store for the route, just so it fills. But once we have the no route ride, they can just put meet here, and then that's going to be the thing. So yeah, we've had some cool stuff on there. We've had I think about 4 or 5 runs on there now. Buff brand, they organised a run in Girona. Had about like 70 people turn up to it, so it's quite cool to see some brands actually utilising Link My Ride for things other than just cycling. So you could probably read between the lines of where we're going to be going over the next kind of 18 months with that stuff.
Yeah, because there's quite a lot of clubs who are cycling and now running as well.
Yeah, running's popping off quite a lot. As I said at the start, I'm now a runner, not a cyclist. So I'll always be a cyclist, always.
Yeah. What would you say the most popular rides are? E.g., like I guess road riding or mountain biking or graveling.
What, in Link My Ride or just in general?
Both. We'll go both.
The most popular rides in Link My Ride are definitely the Unbound or the Lifetime Shakeout ride. So we did Lifetime used Link My Ride for Big Sugar and Little Sugar, Elisha and Bentonville. I think the biggest ride on Link My Ride, that sign-ups we had was at 200. Then this year they're using it for Unbound as well. So all the shake-up rides there, because they were, I think when we first spoke, they were just doing it on Facebook with a paper waiver at the start point. Now they know exactly who's coming. Everyone's signed a waiver and Link My Ride already, so that's all taken care of. So that's a lot more efficient for them. So I think, I've heard the chamois butter ride gets up to over 1,000 people on it at the Unbound. So I think it's on around 50 at the moment, but it's going to start to pick up.
It must be quite nice for you, especially something like Tracker, right, where lots of brands do activation events, and the way they can do the activation event isn't through Strava, because so I'll give you an idea. I was looking to do a group ride with a brand, and the reason I couldn't find it is because they also did 20 other global rides on the same day for a solstice event. So you're trying to find the one that's local for you, but it must be amazing for you to be like logging into, I looked in Girona on the map and it's like, these are all the activation events in Girona and you can find them on Link My Ride. That must be quite reassuring, right?
Yeah. Looking back, like this time last year, obviously we're a bit further in the year now, but kind of I was saying to a few of the guys we brought onto the team, like in January, last year in January, it was literally just me and Tom, and then kind of we had a few agencies working for us as well. But now we've got like an actual team behind it now, and it's still a bit surreal and pinching myself that we've got a team. And like last year, I'd have only dreamt of having Unbound using Link My Ride, and then now they're using it. I think when this goes out, Unbound will have already happened. It's pretty nuts, and yes. I want it to grow quicker, but it's growing at a very, very nice, steady rate month on month. So it's all going in the right direction. And we've got some really, really powerful guys that have joined us from Commute and from Zwift. So we've got some strong team members now as well. So huge wealth of experience and lots of exciting features in the pipe. So yeah, very, very happy and excited.
How big is the team, if you don't mind me asking?
There is, let's say, for just, I don't know, we might be bringing more people on, between 5 and 10 people at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Pure vibes.
Yeah.
Pure vibes in the
Yeah.
office.
Well, there's no office where everyone's
for Link My Ride, do you have, I guess, like sort of main hubs where we'll say, if I'm on holiday,
Yes.
I should definitely open it up and go places that you, I guess, market it more than others?
Yeah, Girona's the start. That's where it kind of all kicked off for us. Girona, London's getting there. More people are making rides in London now. It took us a while to get like London off the ground. I think a bit of first person on the dance floor vibes there. Everyone was a bit too scared to kind of create their own ride, and they kind of need those ride leaders, need those instigators, and kind of people kind of shining the torch. So London is our biggest hub in terms of concentration still. Munich is also really, really strong for us. Then, believe it or not, UAE's huge. There's a lot of activity in the UAE, kind of Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and I can't remember how you say it. The one beginning of like Riyadh. Riyadh, that's it. Riyadh, yeah. Riyadh's good. There's a really cool mountain bike club in Riyadh that I'm really active. Then we're focusing a lot more on kind of, again, focusing on those core hubs. So there's a few more in the UK, and kind of few out in the US and a few out in Australia that we're focusing on in terms of hubs. Because like I said, like Link My Ride it works, but it's not as valuable unless there's a high concentration of riders in a small area. Like if there was 50 cyclists on Link My Ride around the world, it wouldn't work. But if there's 50 cyclists in a village, all on Link My Ride, then they're all connected with each other and riding and organising with each other, it works perfectly. So our goal is trying to kind of get these super hubs, high concentration, get that kind of that circle spinning and get them using it on a kind of weekly basis. And then we've done our job, we can step away and it kind of grows and feeds itself. And then hopefully the more hubs we get closer together, the more they start to overlap, and so on. So that's the kind of little bit of a strategy there of our focus. It's a bit like Uber or Deliveroo. Like they can't deliver everywhere at once. They went city by city, and then the more drivers they had, the more people they could offer it to, and then that starts to expand and kind of bleeds over into other cities. So kind of similar model there. It's quite a common thing, especially for community apps.
Is there I was just thinking about when you were saying about like, if there's like 50 people in I guess a town or a village, and like I create a ride and then like 10 of us go out, we don't know each other, and then someone has a crash. Is there a way of getting like emergency details off them, or is that something that would, I guess, discuss at the beginning?
Funny enough, we had that feature request raised a couple of weeks ago. We're actually just designing that out now. So everybody who's on that ride will be able to access the other attendees' emergency details. So again, another kind of benefit for the app and kind of taking us a bit into that on ride moment. But that was the first time. I think you're the second or third person who's said that now. So we're actually they've taken that into the development phase and start designing it.
Amazing. Well, maybe with that in mind, we head to the Q&A with Jacques. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. So we are into the Q&A. Jack, I know that you probably haven't ridden Regents and Richmond Park like me and Cam. So can you give us a lovely local loop of Oxfordshire that you like doing?
No one's going to know this unless they're from the area, but it used to be it was a loop I started riding on with my dad. It's the loop I've done that loop since I can remember. Starting in Chipping Norton, going towards Churchill, then down towards Bleddington, all very Cotswoldy, lots of nice. You go past Clarkson's farm, all of that stuff. So yeah, it's that loop basically. Clarkson's farm wasn't a thing when I was doing it, but yeah, that loop's my favourite loop. It's got loads of fast bits in, some absolute shitters of climbs, like really steep stuff, and yeah, I can literally ride it with my eyes closed. I've done it that many times. I created the segment for it, and I've hopefully still hold the KOM for it. Unless someone's taken it. I don't think I'll ever get it back if someone has taken the KOM for it. I'd be very surprised if someone does, because I've spent years refining that route and know every hole and every corner like the back of my hand. So yeah, that's my route, but no one will really know it unless they live in the area.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite climb? And would it be on that route, or would it be somewhere?
No, my favourite climb is La Turbie, just outside Monaco. I used to, when I was pro. Well, I say pro. Tom said I wasn't a pro. World Tour was pro, and that's it. Yeah, when I was racing, I used to live in between Monaco and Italy, a little town called Roquebrune Cap Martin. My grandparents lived there, hence the extremely French-looking name. And there's a climb called La Turbie, which is about, say, like 7-8% average, so not too bad. I think it's about 10k, and like, yeah, if you're on a good day, you could rock up there like kind of 28k an hour, 30k an hour if you're pushing. So like, you fly up it, you'd be breaking the corners, and yeah, that was my efforts climb basically, and that was my favorite thing. And descending that as well is an amazing descent to do. So that's probably my favorite climb.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had to break going up a climb. Did you stop for coffee on any of your rides? Do you have like a favorite cycling cafe?
I've stopped that's another reason why I'm not a world tour or anything near pros, because I stopped too much for coffee and cake. So many. There's one at the top of the Turbie. Nico Roach showed me it. It's basically like the best croissant you could ever imagine. Just quite big, but like imagine getting a syringe full of Nutella, like 2 lots of syringes, just filling it with Nutella, like that. So that was amazing, but you had to really be bonked. Like, if you bonked, you'd go there. That's kind of Bonk Saver Cafe. Then there was one in Italy that did like this really nice kind of truffle pork pizza thing that we'd always stop there. And then Cotswold Cycles here is really good. That was my local club I started with, and they just did really nice bacon brie cranberry baguettes. So I used to stop and watch whatever race was on TV, and kind of basically like almost like a mini family. And I just knew everyone there. I've been riding with them since I was about 8 years old. So they'd seen me progress. They've got one of my jerseys hung up on the wall in the shop still. So it's cool, super cool. So yeah, that's my favourite local one. And then there's two in France that are really nice as well.
Amazing. So this is one question that we added a few times as well. So Cycling Hall of Fame. NJ, when he did it, he said big, loud logos on zip wheels. Do you remember when all logos went white on wheels, which are coming back again?
Yeah.
What's your Cycling Hall of Fame? What's the thing that there's a hill that you would die on in terms of maybe style, performance, and whatnot?
Oh, gold.
Oh,
gold.
Yeah.
I've had quite a few arguments, but heated discussions with people like gold's for the Olympics. I don't know Olympic when I'm like, it's gold's a colour, any colour, and it's really cool. Like,
yeah,
there's a big joke with the team at the moment. I really want to get. We were speaking to Sun God, and I was like, right, can we get custom sunglasses, chrome gold, with the Link My Ride like chain link, this one there, chain link, but like, or make it camo and like matte, so like chrome gold frame and then matte chain link. Like that's it's everyone's too scared to wear gold. I sprayed the bottom of my shoes when I was racing gold. I sprayed my Wahoo gold. It came up pretty quickly because they get battered, both of them. But I think make gold more acceptable. That's my my thing. That's not really a Hall of Fame though. That's just a
no. I'll take that. No. There's not a week that goes by that I don't try and find the Oakley Jawbreaker 24K Iridium lens. You remember they did the big gold one?
Yeah.
There's not a week that goes by I don't go on eBay looking for that. I bet you.
So my dream bike would be something that's kind of probably chrome gold. That'd be pretty cool with the
Didn't Sagan have like those when he was world champ? Have the gold rims on that?
Yeah. He did. I don't know if they were chrome silver or chrome gold, but I remember he had a set of chrome rims. He loves a bit of gold. He's got the new tarmac. It's got little gold kind of brushes on, hasn't it? So yeah,
he loves that.
So Sagan's got the minerals to do it. I think everyone should do it as well.
So I know you spoke lovingly of the climb in the south of France, but you also said that Paris-Roubaix under 21 was the one for you too. So cobbles or mountains, what are you climbing, riding, watching? Where do you stand on the cobbles versus mountains, chat?
Training in the mountains, racing on the cobbles, watching either. They're both just as exciting. I think, watching Tadej in the mountains is a spectacle, now getting quite repetitive. But when watching Van der Poel on the cobbles at Roubaix this year again was kind of fucking. It's amazing, but
you want drama. You want some sort of drama.
Right, I can turn this off now. I know what's going to happen. Where I just kind of wanted everyone to get into the velodrome and kind of hit it out. So yeah, that's the problem. I think cycling needs more of the spice and the drama that it used to be. I don't know. It never used to be. Lance shat on everyone as well, didn't he? So it's kind of like this.
So the last question before we head out. You might not notice, but we're big into white bib shorts here, or I'm big into white bib shorts.
I'm fully into it. So
yes, mate.
So much. That's the same thing. Gold. I think Blives pulled out the white shorts and gold sunglasses once before, and the gold shoes.
Yeah.
You remember his Nike shoes?
Mate, have you seen his gold Genesis bike?
Yeah, there you go. Adam Why's got the minerals to pull gold and white and pull the gold out and pull the white shorts.
Did he have houndstooth shoes as well?
Yeah, they're my friend. I love houndstooth. I wanna. If I had the money, I would get all of the interior of the cars that I've got houndstooth, and even I didn't get my office chair houndstooth if I could, with gold wheels or something like that. I think it sounds very flashy, but 100% for it.
I'm trying to get houndstooth bar tape for my bike. I think
does it exist?
It kind of does, but it's. I'll be honest with you, it's not the style that I want. I want like your gran going out clubbing in the 70s houndstooth. I want it big style.
you know what'd be cool? I'm just looking at your bike behind you. You know you got the tan walls, houndstooth walls.
Fuck yeah, mate! There's a work in progress.
I think I should stop what I'm doing and go into like some design or something along those lines. So I kind of start a brand. Golden Tooth. There we go. That's the name of it.
Mate, it's just been done. That's been done.
That's good.
So, Jacques, thank you so much for being on us with the podcast, mate. It's been really great getting to know you, and just thanks for spending the past hour or so with us. I know you've been through Link My Ride, what's next for the brand, but maybe tell us where people can find the app, how they can download it, how they can get involved, and we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks so much for having me. I felt like I got nice and relaxed and silly at the end talking about rubbish, so always nice to do. Link My Ride, you can find it on app stores, so it's both Android, so Google Play, and then Apple App Store for iOS. That's for the app, and then if you're a club, a brand, or a store, and you want to create kind of a club account, that's all through our website at linkmyride.com. So, appreciate the little spot allowing me to do the plug at the end. Thank you.
No worries. And so that's it. Link My Ride, iTunes, App Store, Google Play Store, clubs online, and last thing to say, Jacques, thank you very much for coming on, and it's goodbye from me.
Thanks. Bye.